Hello everyone, I'm Jason Sikes, aka the Tech Rancher, and this is my homework solution for number lesson 22. It's done by Paul McWhorter. This particular class is called Raspberry Pi Pico W. Paul does multiple different electronic engineering classes that you can take on YouTube, or you can go to his website. You can find him on YouTube at Paul McWhorter or his website at www.toptechboy.com. Alright, enough promoting Paul. Let's get to the solution. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and show you what it looks like at the end, and then we'll discuss how I laid it out. Alright, enough talking. Let's get this turned on. Come over here. Okay, it's up, and it says sensor reading. Temperature is 22 degrees Celsius. Just like we did on lesson number 21, if I use these two buttons, I'm trying to only show two right here. If I just do these two buttons that toggle between the temperature, the humidity, and the heat index. So let's see what it does. If I press on it, there's humidity, 52 degrees. Press on it again. Well, press on it again, there we go. Heat index, which is 22.71. And I press on it again, and it cycles back to the beginning. Then our middle button, if we remember on lesson 21, it flipped between our Fahrenheit and Celsius. But on my last code, it only did for what was being exposed. I've changed that. Now if you press it down, it says converting to Fahrenheit reading, which you can't read the last part of reading. Not enough LD spaces to make another character there. Now if I push on this, now it gives us Fahrenheit. And it says 73.4, and if I press on it again, don't know why, there we go. It's 52 degrees percent of humidity. Press on it again, and it says 74.86 degrees Fahrenheit. What it did is it displayed Fahrenheit without having to go back and hit the button again. Now if I hit the button again, it says now converting back to Celsius, just like what we saw at the very beginning. And if I push on the button, and it gives us the reading for all in Celsius, just like it did at the very beginning. But as my face is hiding an extra button, I have an extra button in here. Let's see what this extra button does. I push on it. It shut it off. And if I push on it again, and if I push on it again, it turns it back on. I have some cheap buttons, guys. I apologize for it. I've got some better ones ordered already. But just bear with me on these while we're still doing it, while we're waiting for the order to come in. Alright, there's my solution. If you want to hang around, I'll show you how I laid it out, the layout, and then also I'll go through the coding. So, let's go through the coding. Or let's go to the layout. Let's shut off the wrong one. Shut off this one. And let's bring up the layout. I did find an HDT11 for the library. So here we go. Now we got it correct being displayed instead of the DHT22. So you've seen this from lesson 20 and 21. We get the Raspberry Pi Pico W and proper DHT11 and 3 buttons. One more button added into it. This one more button is going to GPIO pin 13. Now we had this new, it's an LCD 1602, and we had hooked that up with the pins here, and I'll go over the pins with you real quick for if you never laid it out before. Alright, the first pin, which is a green pin, is coming down for our ground. That comes to the first pin for and then our second pin that we have here on the side would be our power supply, which is, if we look at this one, it says it's the V-bus power system coming off. I haven't done enough reading into the work on this to find out what that exactly is entailing, but this is what Paul told us to do, and that's what I'm doing for right now. I will read the data sheet and learn that more. I need to do that for myself anyway. And then for our next one, we have it would be SDA, which, oh yeah, it's written right there. SDA is coming over here, and this is for pin. Well, I have it pin number 7, or GPIO pin 7, and or GPIO pin 6 and GPIO pin 7 next to it would be coming down, and that's for this is for the SCL. And then Paul had provided his library for us to be able to use this. What I did is I could not get the printout. Well, I could get the printout to come out, but I could not get it to shut off the back light. And I tried adding that into Paul's library, but I kept on getting so many errors. So I went to GitHub and found me another one that someone else had wrote, and then adding into what I did to the library of making it actually worked. So let's go to here and look at this. It's I2C LCD 1602.py, the library I found on GitHub. And then, well, let me go to that here real quick. And then what I had made sure and added into it was the backlighting. Or did I do that with? Oh yeah, right down here. I saw it, and then here it is. I added in the backlighting, and there be able to toggle it on and off. And so I couldn't get that to work on Paul's. I don't understand enough of how he programmed that library to be able to get it to function correctly. I kept on getting errors coming in. But all right, enough of that. Let's go to how I laid out this code real quick. This is for lesson number 22, not 21, Jason. Oh yeah, it's the same as 21. Sorry, I looked at it and didn't read that in time. Okay, imported the libraries, and I imported the library that I brought in, which is I2C underscore ICD 1602, imported the LCD 1602, imported utime as time, imported machine, and imported the pin in I2C, imported HDT, or from the library HDT, imported the class of HDT11, imported math to be able to do the heat index calculations. Brought in my variables. I have a huge variable list to be able to do all the different togglings. I'm sure there's a different way how to clean this up. I am not spending enough time. I'm trying to get caught up with the lessons, and so I'm not really spending enough time to make my code look more neat or tidier or clean. It's clean enough to work, but it's not looking really tidy. I apologize. I'm just wanting to get caught up with everyone else. It works. So you can take a screenshot and look at it. I'm just not going to break it all down because if you're watching it, more or less likely you've already done the homework and you're just seeing what I did. The only thing I did differently in here is with the way how you do this library compared to Paul's, you can do a clear still to clear the LCD screen, but then we use print on the printout for the titling system, but then you also use puts, P-U-T-S, to be able to display the other ones. So just like we normally did in 21 and 22, we're getting sensor reading, bringing in temperature and humidity into the variables. Then we're doing our button tracking, making sure we're pushing down on the button if we do, and it's already been in the state of being pushed down and being raised back up, which actually this one is correct. Yep. And then what we're doing then is I am putting in, if we're pushing the black light button, which is button number 3, and then I'm going ahead and saying we're going to turn that off and turn it on, depending on if it's the true or false on display on or display not on. And then I toggled it. Okay, then we're going in for our push button, being able to go through if it's we're requesting temperature, or if it's requesting humidity, or if it's requesting heat index each time we push the button. Then to clean up a little bit that I did to make it more easy readable, I threw in the ones I did from 21, which was down below, up into the same nestings of if statements down in here. So then We have is converted or is not converted to be able to cycle in between. That's with my third button, and that would just eliminate a lot of the different redundancy, and so I'm trying not to be so much redundant. Then this displaying using that LCD puts. If it's the first for the top line, you don't have to specify which row or column. If it's the second one, you have to specify that it's using the row 0, but row 0, column 1, and it displays across that whole row there. And that was pretty much the difference between Paul's and mine for this library here that I modified. Which up here I'd call them for the black light that I had added into it. And I'm not really seeing very much more that I changed, other than I'm having to cycle through my black light button, the third button being pressed. And then my ending, which my ending at the very end, I did a fancy little ending, and without kind of surprising, I mean, you can read it here, but let me show you on the board. Let's end it. I think we're done, so we're just gonna go ahead and end this here. And look at the display screen over here and see what it says here. Hello everyone, Tech Rancher. And then I did have it say goodbye everyone. Be safe out there. And I put a huge delay in here because I wanted to do a screenshot, but now it's done. It's shut off. Alright everyone, I believe that's it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Criticism is gladly accepted. That's the only way how you can get better sometimes, is to get feedback from people. And until next time, be safe out there.